Today's show is going to start off with breakfast on a sheet pan. So we're going to make sheet pan pancakes, which I know might sound a little bit strange, but what I love about it is it's really just a delicious, fluffy, golden pancake that's all on one pan. So you don't have to sit there flipping the pancakes, and you can top them with whatever you like on your pancakes. So to start off, we're going to start with our dry ingredients, which is 2½ cups of oat flour, 1/3 cup of sweetener, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then for our wet ingredients, we have 1/2 cup of applesauce, a teaspoon or so of vanilla, kind of to taste, 2 eggs, and 1 cup of milk of choice, and 1 tablespoon of vinegar, which is going to help the pancakes be bubbly and rise. So we're going to add all of the dry ingredients first to our bowl, then the wet ingredients, and pour it onto a sheet pan, and that is as easy as this recipe is. So I have to tell you guys, because I've already introduced you to Oliver, about kind of our story behind Oliver. And really, he is such a miracle, just like Maddie was. But with him, there also came some tears. So it wasn't all beautiful and wonderful. I actually went through a miscarriage after 2 years or so of trying. And so that was absolutely devastating for my husband and I, because, you know, we waited so long. We were so excited to finally see that we were indeed pregnant. And then to lose a baby was just absolutely heartbreaking. But I'll never forget when we got the news that, you know, we lost the baby, that God just sprang this hope up in me immediately, where I just knew that I knew that God would redeem this story, that it wouldn't end there. And sure enough, it was only about 2 months later, I found out I was pregnant again. And when I told my doctor that I was pregnant, he actually discouraged me from being so hopeful. He said, you know, it was a little bit too soon. I'm a little bit concerned about this pregnancy, not too sure how it'll turn out. And I just clung to the hope that this baby was a gift from God, and that, you know, God was going to see to it that this story would be redeemed for us. And so, lo and behold, we had Oliver James, who we call Ollie, and sometimes we call him Ollie Pop for short, which is super cute. But we had Ollie 9 months later. And when I went into labor with him, I actually went into labor at home. It just was very fast. It was a very fast labor. And when we got to the hospital, I thought that we were going to have him within like an hour of getting to the hospital. But, you know, things took a turn there as well. And things just didn't progress in the right direction. And so I ended up needing to get a C-section, which I honestly never thought would happen to me. You know, I used to be a labor and delivery nurse. So for me, I just thought that, C-sections and seeing them up close and seeing them in, you know, for other women, it just looked like it was something that I never ever wanted to be a part of for my body, because it really, it was just not the plan that I had in mind. And so when I ended up going through a C-section, I was of course very thankful that Oliver and myself were healthy and that everything turned out well. But I felt really confused and really sad. And I just remember talking to God and saying, God, what happened? Because I had a really scary labor with Maddie as well. And I just really was praying and hoping during the pregnancy that, you know, all would be well and it wouldn't happen again where I would go through any sort of trauma. And God just spoke to me very gently and said to me, Katie, whether you see it this way or not, I did, in fact, redeem everything about this pregnancy. And how you know that is because Oliver is here, and he's healthy, and he's in your arms right now. And I realized that, you know, even in the midst of every single storm, we can always choose to find the good in everything that God has for us, because He truly does take everything that looks like ashes, everything that is tragic or traumatizing or anything hard we go through, and he will make something beautiful out of it. But we have to look for him and look for his heart, look for his redemption in everything. And so today, I'm just so thankful. Every time I look at Ollie, I feel like I could just cry with thanks because of what God has done in our life, my life, and in our family. And one of the greatest things about him is looking at him and realizing that every single prayer that I prayed for him, actually, truly, God showed off, even in the little details. I prayed that he would have a dimple. He has one dimple. I prayed that he would be blonde. He's blonde. And not any of that really matters, but it's just the way that God, kind of just shows off in the details. But my favorite prayer of all that I prayed for him that I see daily is that he would be a good eater. Because after Maddie and kind of just experiencing a picky eater, that was something that was so my heart's desire. And now I can see so very clearly that God truly does love to answer prayers because he is the best eater ever. So these pancakes, you can see how easy that was. I just literally mixed everything together in a bowl, poured it on a sheet pan, and now we're going to bake this 425 degrees for about 20 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean, and then we're going to top them with some strawberries or whatever you like on your pancakes.